The Lockdown NFL podcast, of course, on YouTube. Subscribe, get that great daily content. Bo Brack hanging out with you and wrapping up Week 11 Sunday was a wild one. It was the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, but man, that really just kind of makes things sound too easy as far as what actually transpired in this contest. It's like Justin Herbert giveth, and then he immediately taketh away from the Pittsburgh Steelers, 41-37. It was Justin Herbert hitting Mike Williams on a big pass play to take this lead, eventually the game winner. And I bring on David Droegemeier, of course, from Locked On Bolts, Locked On Chargers, whatever you want to call them. They're talking Chargers football. David, how important was it to not let this one slip out of their grasp for the Bolts?
It's extremely important, and honestly, it's important because you don't want to go back to your old ways. There's such a stigma around the Chargers of this team's going to find any way they possibly can to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory because they've lost in some fantastic ways throughout the years. And I mean, through three quarters, you felt pretty good about this game, and then things just started to change so quickly, and the blood pressure started to rise, and the Chargers had to weather the storm. The Steelers, to their credit, they really fought hard in this game, but the Chargers were able to overcome and ultimately secure a crazy, crazy win.
Yeah, it certainly was. What it was, was it 41 points that were scored in that final frame, 27 by Pittsburgh, just a wild finish. And I talked to Luke Braun of the Minnesota Vikings. They were supposed to have that new crown of the team that would relinquish leads and lose in devastating fashion. And yeah, I talked to you a couple times earlier this season. The Chargers had some dramatic wins and were on the right side of things. So what I mean, we're looking at the Chargers now 6-4 in a very murky AFC West. It seems like this win is something that they could maybe parlay into something good.
Well, yeah, especially after a couple of really tough weeks, where the Chargers they're losing some games that they were in and that they had chances to win, and you just see that Vikings game was especially frustrating. It just you could never get anything going, and then it was really important, in this game against the AFC opponent who is right next to you in the standings. To go out there and really put together a very good game plan. You had a great opportunity because the Steelers had a lot of defensive starters that were out this game. Yeah. I mean, you didn't have TJ Watt. You didn't have Minkah Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of key guys. I mean, Joe Hayden, a lot of guys that, are there every week and are huge contributors on defense. And if the Chargers weren't able to maximize on that opportunity to get the win here, I mean, you're really looking at a completely different season. But it's time to go. It's getting late in November, and this is the time frame where these games really matter, and you have to start stacking wins. You want to play your best football as you're going into December, and the Chargers have put themselves in a position to do that.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert, he led the charge at the end, but the interception, do you feel like that's uncharacteristic, or is that just something that Herbert needs to clean up from his game?
Well, that particular interception wasn't really his fault. I mean, he threw the ball, it hit Cam Hayward directly in the helmet, went right through his hands, hit him right in the helmet. It pops up in the air and it gets intercepted. And the defender made a fantastic play on that to secure that interception. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to see an interception on the stat sheet, but I don't really blame that one on Herbert. But if you look at the stats, the Chargers and Justin Herbert, they win football games when he does not throw interceptions. I mean, the Chargers are 4-0. When he does not throw an interception. So it's very, very important for him to protect the football. But one thing that Justin Herbert did with great success in this game that you don't see a lot is he ran with the ball. Yeah. When the blitz was getting after him, he did not make a bad throw. He made the best decision. He saw a hole and he took it, and he ran for almost or over 90 yards rushing in this game. That was huge to stay ahead of the sticks, keep the football, and maximize those opportunities to be able to punch it in the end zone and score touchdowns.
382 in the air, 3 touchdowns, the interception, 90 yards on the ground, including a big 36-yarder that Cam Hayward, who took one in the face later, also had a bad, roughing or personal foul after that 36-yard penalty. So, the Steelers 5-4-1, Chargers 6-4, big game against the Denver Broncos after this. But you feel like this is kind of just working. I mean, Justin Herbert, this was good. Justin Herbert. This wasn't the last, 2 out of 3 games, 3 out of 4 games where he's kind of struggled. You think he's back on track for the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a great opportunity going up against the Steelers defense to really get right, and there was a lot of opportunity to. I mean, no matter who you're going up against, this is the NFL, and you're going up against the highest caliber competition. So for Justin Herbert to go out there and throw for 380 yards and get 90 yards on the ground and really put his team on his back, be the best player on the football field, as Brandon Staley likes to say. I mean, that's huge. And like I said, you want to play your best football going into December. And Justin Herbert, by all accounts, looks like he is doing that.
Austin Eckler, 4 total touchdowns, kind of gets lost.
Monster.
Huge game. David Droegemeier, the guys over at Locked On Bulls, Locked On Chargers, they're talking about it today on Locked On, or just in their Victory Monday podcast. And then they're previewing that big AFC West showdown with the Broncos later this week. David, always fun to catch up with you, man. Thanks for joining me.
Appreciate it, Brock. I'm sure we'll do it again sometime soon.
Sounds good.